Chosen one, in a world where people plot in silence, schemes are woven in shadows, and envy hides behind fake smiles. You have been tested in ways others cannot even imagine. But something changed. Suddenly you saw it. You figured out the nasty, diabolical plan against you. You realized the whispers, the betrayals, and the hidden traps were never random. They were meant to stop you. And now they are terrified. Terrified not because you fought back, but because a servant whom Allah guides cannot be controlled, manipulated, or defeated. In this video, we will uncover 7 powerful lessons for the chosen ones, revealing why their fear is proof of your elevation, their plots only strengthen your path, and how Allah is preparing you for your next unstoppable move. Chosen one, understand this truth deeply. The very moment Allah allowed you to uncover the scheme against you was not a coincidence, nor a result of your own intuition alone. It was a divine awakening, a gift of basira, spiritual insight that He grants only to those He chooses to protect and elevate. Awareness is not just knowing what is happening around you. It is a light Allah places in your heart, a clarity that allows you to see through the darkness of deception, the hidden malice of others, and the subtle manipulations that aim to sway your path. While the world sleeps in ignorance, the chosen one walks with eyes wide open, discerning the truth behind every smile, every gesture, and every whispered word. This awareness shields you in ways that no human defense could ever replicate, because when Allah grants insight, no plot, no trap, no scheme can reach the heart of the one He guards. You begin to notice patterns that others dismiss, understand intentions that others overlook, and move with a caution tempered by faith rather than fear. Every sign, every subtle warning, every unease that once confused you now becomes a clear message from Allah, a divine map pointing out the hidden dangers before they manifest. And in this awareness, there is power. Power that terrifies those who plotted against you. Power that keeps you steps ahead of those who thought they could control your destiny, and power that reminds you that Allah is not just observing the battlefield from afar. He is actively placing His chosen servants in positions of understanding, strategy, and protection. Awareness, therefore, is your first and most unshakable shield. A light that exposes the darkness before it can touch you. A gift that ensures that even while the enemy moves in secret, Allah's plan for you cannot be thwarted. Remember, this awareness is sacred. It is not meant for arrogance, but for patience, for restraint, and for moving forward with confidence, knowing that the one who opened your eyes is the one who will protect every step you take, guide every decision you make, and ultimately turn every scheme meant to harm you into a testimony of His mercy, wisdom, and unmatched justice. The chosen one who sees, who understands, and who acts with divine insight is untouchable, not because they are flawless, but because Allah has made them vigilant, and His protection surrounds the vigilant like a fortress no enemy can penetrate. Chosen one, you must understand this with absolute clarity. The existence of a scheme against you was never evidence of your weakness. It was undeniable proof of their fear, because people do not conspire against what is insignificant, nor do they plot against those who pose no threat to their comfort, control, or false sense of power. The fact that they invested time, energy, secrecy, and coordination to undermine you reveals how deeply your presence unsettled them, how your integrity exposed their corruption, and how your quiet strength disrupted the fragile illusion they were desperately trying to maintain. Your light made their darkness uncomfortable. Your discipline reflected their lack of self-control, and your alignment with Allah reminded them of everything they were not willing to become. That fear grew louder the more you remained patient, the more you refused to compromise your values, and the more Allah continued to elevate you despite their silent resistance. In Islam, we are reminded that hearts tremble not from physical force alone, but from truth, and your existence became a living reminder of truth they could not silence. Their scheme was not designed because you were vulnerable. It was created because you were untouchable in ways they could not understand, protected by Allah's decree and strengthened by trials meant to refine, not destroy you. Every lie they whispered, every trap they laid, Every alliance they formed in secret was a confession of insecurity, a desperate attempt to regain control over something Allah had already placed beyond their reach. And when Allah allowed you to uncover their plot, it wasn't to embarrass you, it was to expose them, to strip away the illusion of superiority they clung to, and to remind you that fear-driven people always reveal themselves through destruction rather than creation. Their fear now follows them like a shadow, because they know you see them clearly. And there is nothing more terrifying to a fearful soul than a chosen one who understands the truth, stands firm in faith, and refuses to be shaken by the noise of those who are collapsing under the weight of their own intentions. Chosen one, realize this with the depth your heart deserves. The moment you uncovered the scheme against you was not accidental, nor was it merely your own intuition at work. It was the mercy of Allah manifesting in your life, a protection granted only to those He loves and chooses for elevation. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, knows the paths of the believers and the plots of the deceivers, and He orchestrates events so that His chosen servants are never struck by harm before they are ready to witness and overcome it. The awareness you gained, the clarity that dawned upon you, and the puzzle pieces falling into place were all signs that Allah was intervening long before the enemy could inflict any real damage. This is why their efforts failed in ways invisible to the world, but crystal clear to your soul. What they intended as destruction was transformed into insight. What they plotted as humiliation became a shield, and every whispered lie became a lesson in discernment. In Islam, Allah reminds us that He is the best of planners, and the plans of those who oppose His servants cannot succeed unless He wills it. And when He chooses, He allows you to see the danger beforehand so that your faith is strengthened, your patience refined, and your steps guided. This divine foresight teaches you that no betrayal is random, no attack without reason, and no obstacle without a purpose designed by Allah to elevate you. Their hidden motives were revealed not to alarm you, but to awaken you, to fortify your trust in Allah, and to prepare your heart for the journey ahead, knowing that the one who walks with Him can never be truly defeated. Even while they moved in shadows, Allah illuminated your path, allowing you to navigate with caution, wisdom, and confidence. And this is why their fear now grows stronger, because they realize that a chosen one, forewarned and protected by Allah, moves beyond their reach, untouchable, unshakable, and unstoppable. In seeing the plot before it could touch you, you were not just saved, you were elevated, refined, and positioned for the next stage of divine purpose. A living testament that when Allah protects, no scheme, no betrayal, and no darkness can prevail against the one He guards. Chosen one, understand this truth with the depth it deserves. The most terrifying weapon you possess against those who plotted against you is not confrontation, not exposure, not even argument. It is your silence after seeing the truth. When Allah lifted the veil and allowed you to witness the diabolical schemes, He did not only grant you awareness, He granted you patience, divine restraint, and clarity of heart that surpasses the understanding of those who are blinded by envy and malice. You could have reacted in haste, allowed anger or pride to guide your steps, or revealed their schemes publicly in a moment of emotional release, but you chose a higher path, the path of a servant guided by faith and wisdom. This silence is not weakness, it is a shield, a fortress built by Allah Himself around your heart, protecting you from the chaos they intended to unleash. They plotted in darkness, but your composed response now illuminates their fear. They are terrified not because they know what you will do immediately, but because a chosen one who walks in Allah's guidance is unpredictable, unstoppable, and unstoppable, moving with divine timing that no human can anticipate or control. Your quiet composure demonstrates mastery over your emotions, and it reflects a faith that is not shaken by whispers, schemes, or lies. Every subtle manipulation, every hidden attack, every false narrative they tried to construct collapses in the presence of your steadfastness, because Allah has fortified your heart, sharpened your insight, and aligned your actions with His will. They panic silently, attempting to read you, to anticipate your next move, to regain control, but the chosen one has learned that true power lies not in reaction, but in calm awareness, discernment, and divine reliance. Your silence now becomes a mirror reflecting their weakness, their insecurity, and their desperation. It is a warning that schemes, no matter how carefully planned, fail against a servant who trusts in Allah and walks in patience. It demonstrates to the world, to your enemies, and to your own heart that your protection does not depend on confrontation or retaliation. It depends on your alignment with Allah, your restraint, and your ability to move strategically while guided by divine wisdom. This silence carries weight because it signals mastery over yourself, over the situation, and over the unseen forces that sought to derail your path. It terrifies them because they know that the chosen one who moves in silence is already ahead, already protected, and already elevated, and no scheme they conceived can reach the soul that Allah shields. Your calm is their chaos, your patience is their panic, and your unwavering faith is the unseen force that nullifies every plan against you. Remember, chosen one, silence in the face of evil is not surrender. It is a declaration of divine strength, an assertion that no human effort can dismantle what Allah has ordained, and a testament that those who conspire in darkness will ultimately reveal themselves, powerless against a servant who knows the truth, trusts Allah, and moves with clarity and patience that only He can inspire. Chosen one, understand this with the clarity and depth your heart deserves. When you uncover a plot, a betrayal, or a hidden scheme against you, it is not merely an opportunity to react or defend yourself. It is a divine lesson in realizing that true protection belongs only to Allah. And when He becomes your defender, no human plan, no malicious design, and no force of darkness can succeed against you. The schemes crafted in secret, the whispers behind closed doors, the carefully laid traps designed to destabilize your faith or steal your dignity, all of them are powerless against the shield of divine protection. Allah reminds us in the Qur'an that He is the best of planners, and what others intend for harm, He transforms into mercy, guidance, and elevation for the chosen servant. Every malicious effort they expended, every alliance formed to corner you, every trap they imagined with cunning precision, collapses not because of your human strength, intelligence, or cunning, but because Allah is guarding your steps, your heart, and your destiny. Their schemes are visible only to test your awareness, refine your patience, and teach you the limits of human malice when confronted with divine protection. Understand that the fear you now see in their eyes is confirmation of what Allah has placed around you. Their desperation is a reflection of your elevation. Their attacks, intended to wound or humiliate, instead expose them, reveal their weaknesses, and highlight the futility of relying on deception and envy when Allah has declared His chosen servant untouchable. Even when their plotting seems sophisticated, when their efforts are layered with manipulation, Allah's protection is more sophisticated, more precise, and more powerful, turning every scheme into a lesson in His mercy and every trap into a sign of His wisdom. You begin to notice a pattern. The more they plot, the more apparent their fear becomes. The tighter they try to trap you, the more obvious it is that Allah is guiding your steps beyond their reach. In this divine calculus, their time, energy, and intentions become wasted motion, while your awareness, patience, and faith become exponentially strengthened. The chosen one realizes that divine defense does not always manifest as immediate confrontation or obvious victory. Sometimes it appears as delayed understanding, as subtle foresight, as the revelation of their schemes before they can cause damage. This is why they panic silently, why their arrogance crumbles behind closed doors, and why no matter how clever or calculated their strategy seems, it will ultimately fail. Allah's protection is not limited to your physical safety. It extends to your reputation, your peace of mind, your spiritual clarity, and the integrity of your path. They may try to manipulate outcomes, distort truth, and influence perception, but the one whom Allah shields becomes untouchable in every realm: heart, mind, and destiny. This is the essence of being chosen. Not that the world will be free of threats, but that threats themselves are transformed into affirmations of divine guardianship. The collapse of their schemes is not mere coincidence. It is the natural result of placing your trust, reliance, and steps entirely under the command of the one who sees all, knows all, and controls all. And as you walk forward, chosen one, you realize that every plot intended for your ruin becomes a testimony of Allah's power, every trap laid in secret becomes evidence of His protection, and every moment of fear they experience becomes proof that when Allah is your defender, no force, no enemy, no darkness, and no hidden plan can ever succeed against you. You are untouchable not because you are flawless, but because Allah has declared it so, and His declaration manifests in ways that are subtle, powerful, and inescapable, transforming every malicious intention into a stepping stone for your elevation, your patience, and your ultimate triumph in the path He has designed specifically for you. Chosen one, understand this deeply. The greatest terror for those who plotted against you is not that you exist, not that you are strong, and not even that you have discovered their schemes. It is that you have become unpredictable, a force guided by Allah that cannot be anticipated, manipulated, or cornered. They are terrified because they once believed they could read you, control the narrative, and manipulate the circumstances surrounding your life. But now Allah has placed clarity, wisdom, and divine strategy within you, and every step you take is no longer determined by their expectations, nor is it governed by their illusions of power. They fear because they see that the chosen one is no longer reactive, but proactive in alignment with divine guidance, moving with patience, restraint, and insight that only Allah could have granted. Your decisions are no longer impulsive, your emotions no longer govern your actions, and your trust in Allah ensures that even while they plan, your path is protected and precise. What they imagined as predictable patterns, your reactions, your responses, your vulnerabilities, have been replaced by a servant who acts according to wisdom, discernment, and spiritual insight. This unpredictability terrifies them because it is invisible yet undeniable. They cannot strategize effectively when Allah is orchestrating your steps, and every attempt to anticipate you becomes an exercise in futility. They panic quietly, desperately trying to analyze your intentions, to manipulate perception, and to regain control. But a chosen one who moves under divine direction is already 2 steps ahead, with timing and decisions aligned to outcomes that Allah has already decreed. Their fear is compounded by their inability to comprehend the spiritual protection surrounding you. They see your calm composure, your strategic silence, your measured responses, and they cannot calculate what will come next because the chosen one no longer operates in the realm of human predictability, but in the realm of divine orchestration. Theirs is a fear born not from your actions alone, but from the knowledge that Allah is moving through you, that what they intended for harm will now serve your elevation, that every plan they laid in secret will unravel in ways only Allah can manifest, and that the outcomes they anticipated as victories for themselves are already being rewritten by the one who sees all. This unpredictability is not random. It is the result of your awareness, your patience, your reliance on Allah, and the spiritual alignment that He has granted you through trials, revelations, and the unveiling of their schemes. They are terrified because the chosen one has become a living embodiment of divine wisdom in action, moving with strategy that is unseen, guidance that is invisible, and protection that is absolute. And while they tremble in the uncertainty of your next move, you walk forward with confidence, knowing that every step you take is part of Allah's plan. Every pause is deliberate, every decision measured, and every action perfectly aligned with the destiny He has written for you. Their fear is your confirmation, their panic is your testimony, and their inability to predict your next step is a clear indication that Allah has elevated you beyond the reach of ordinary schemes, ordinary understanding, and ordinary fear. In this unpredictability, you are no longer just a person navigating the world. You are a servant chosen by Allah to act under His guidance, a force whose next move cannot be intercepted, whose path cannot be blocked, and whose destiny cannot be altered by the schemes of the fearful, the envious, or the malicious. Every plot they conceive, every attempt to corner you, every effort to manipulate your surroundings is now powerless, because a chosen one who moves unpredictably under divine protection is already untouchable, already elevated, and already victorious in ways they cannot foresee or comprehend. Their fear grows with each moment of your composure, each silent observation, and each measured decision, because they now know that the chosen one does not walk in their predictable patterns, but in the perfect orchestration of Allah, whose timing, wisdom, and guidance are beyond human calculation, whose protection is unmatched, and whose chosen servant moves with the certainty of one whose next step is divine, whose destiny is sealed, and whose elevation cannot be hindered by any force, visible or invisible, known or hidden. Chosen one, understand this deeply and let it resonate in every fiber of your being. The moment you uncovered the scheme, the betrayal, the secret plot designed to shake your faith, your reputation, and your path, was not merely an incident, it was the final divine test, a threshold placed by Allah to prepare you for a level of elevation that could not have been attained without first passing this trial. Allah does not elevate a servant arbitrarily. He does not grant higher vision, deeper wisdom, or greater influence without first refining the heart, fortifying the spirit, and strengthening patience in ways that ordinary trials cannot. This exposure, the unveiling of hidden malice, the discovery of intentions cloaked in deceit, and the realization of plots designed to derail your journey, was a sacred instrument of purification, a divine mirror reflecting not your flaws, but the reality of those around you, and a test of your ability to remain steadfast, composed, and aligned with Allah while surrounded by the turbulence of human schemes. The enemies who plotted against you were not the architects of your destiny. They were instruments for Allah to measure your awareness, your patience, and your trust in His plan. Every whisper intended to confuse you, every act of malice meant to intimidate you, every hidden agenda aimed to distract you, became instead a lesson in divine discernment, teaching you that your elevation is not dependent on their perception, their approval, or their actions, but on your connection to Allah, your clarity of vision, and your willingness to act in alignment with His guidance. This was the stage where your character was tested, where your resilience was measured, and where your faith was refined to a purity that can now withstand not only human schemes, but also the pressures of elevated responsibility, the challenges of leadership, and the scrutiny of the world that often misunderstands the chosen ones. The exposure of their plots was a gift, a rare and sacred opportunity to see the reality of those around you, to discern who is aligned with Allah's truth and who is entangled in fear, envy, or malice, and to step into your next phase of life with wisdom, foresight, and a heart untouchable by deceit. This test was final because it prepared you for elevation in every realm: spiritual, mental, emotional, and even societal. Those who tried to harm you unintentionally became the instruments through which Allah honed your patience, sharpened your insight, and fortified your trust in Him. Every plot that failed, every trap that collapsed, every act of betrayal that was revealed was evidence of Allah's perfect planning, showing that your elevation is both inevitable and divinely orchestrated, and that nothing human can impede the destiny He has written for you. In this final test, you learn that the fear in their hearts, the desperation in their actions, and the collapse of their schemes are not signs of your struggle, but proof of your impending rise. The exposure was a catalyst, transforming every attempt against you into a stepping stone, every act of hidden malice into a lesson of discernment, and every moment of doubt into a confirmation that Allah's chosen servant cannot be shaken. Chosen one, this trial was not for their victory, but for your elevation. It was not to break you, but to refine you. It was not a setback, but a preparation for divine ascension. A sacred invitation to move beyond the constraints of worldly schemes and step fully into the destiny Allah has meticulously designed for you. And now, as the dust settles, as the plots unravel, and as their fear becomes visible, you stand not merely as a survivor of human deceit, but as a servant elevated, purified, and chosen, whose next phase of life, influence, and purpose is guarded, guided, and guaranteed by Allah Himself. This exposure was the final test, and because you endured it with patience, awareness, and faith, the doors to your elevation have swung wide open. The enemies who plotted against you are now powerless witnesses to the rise of a chosen one, whose destiny moves forward unshakable, whose steps are guided with divine precision, and whose heart remains untouchable, unwavering, and aligned with Allah, ready to embrace the fullness of the elevation that has been prepared through the trials, the exposure, and the tests that only the chosen ones are meant to endure. This is the ultimate reality. Every scheme against you was a measure, every betrayal a test, and every exposure the final threshold before your ascent into the life Allah has decreed for you. A life of protection, influence, and divine purpose that no human plan can obstruct, no fear can intimidate, and no darkness can overcome. Chosen one, if this message has reached your heart, understand this clearly. You are not walking alone, and nothing that was ever plotted against you can stop the destiny Allah has written for you. Because every scheme, every whisper, and every hidden plan was never stronger than the divine protection surrounding your life. And the fear they now feel is proof of your elevation. Your awareness, patience, silence, and unwavering faith are more powerful than any human attempt to manipulate, delay, or harm you. And Allah sees every step you take, every trial you endure, and every moment you choose patience over reaction. He is guiding you, even when the path feels unclear, and He is preparing you for what is meant for you in His perfect timing. Walk forward with confidence and clarity, trusting that a chosen one moves under divine protection, untouchable, unstoppable, and destined for a purpose far greater than what others can perceive. Let this be your reminder. Their fear is your confirmation, their schemes are your lessons, and your next move is guided by the one who controls the heavens and the earth. Stay patient, stay aware, and continue to walk in faith. Because while the world will always have its shadows, Allah's light shines brightest through the chosen ones, and your journey is not just for you, but for the impact Allah has prepared for you to leave behind.